Welcome to episode 42 of Fables from the Pickled Quipper. I'm your host and master of dungeons, Phil, and where last we left off, after what felt like an eternity underground, the Hand of Aegis returned to Delzimer, woke up on their second day back to a cold and snowy morning. Butter and Cassette spotted someone watching the group. Eska headed off after changing herself to look like one of the twins from the Two Halves, and in some way trying to suggest to Bardor, very ineffectually, that she was in pursuit, as was Kedox, having been informed of the situation. So, where last we left off, we were in South Dalzima region. Eska had travelled up past the Bucket of Blood. Kedox was up on, I think on one of the roofs. So, Eska, you saw what appeared to be another moon elf. And you see this elf, she seemed to vaguely look at you and then look past you, and then kept hurrying towards the west gate.
Quick clerical things. It was Bardor and Claire outside.
I hate when people just run off from the party to do ridiculous things.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
So, Eska, you are about... It's probably still half an hour to get to the west gate. As far as you can tell...
Kedox says, I can see Kedox above doing the same thing.
Make a perception check.
I don't need that.
Natural 20 for 24.
Yes,
Nice.
you see Kedox.
Oh, it's good time to roll that.
He is perched up in one of the buildings and appears to be keeping a watchful eye on things. At the moment, this moon elf is closing in on Horseplace.
So I begin to pursue, but then I'm sort of torn because I realize that this is not really a very sensible course of action. I don't know. It was just like that initial burst of, what's going on. But I am still curious. So I sort of run a few steps, and then I stop. I turn to Kedox, and I attempt to message Kedox.
Okay.
I don't know if we've ever talked to Kedox, but I'm going to try it.
I don't think you have.
I'm going to message Kedox in Draconic. I don't know if that matters. And I'm going to say, Kedox, follow that elf. See where she goes.
Okay.
Kedox can respond to this message.
Yeah. Eli, I'll let you do the honors. With the understanding that Kedox can't speak, but can at least communicate simple ideas and emotions and images.
And that is also while I am warging, in essence, through him, right?
Yes, I don't think that would be an issue. So you would also get if you are actively looking through Kedox's eyes, you would get that information at the same time, I would think.
If it was within the 100 feet, currently, Silvarius would be he would have control over Kedox, so he would technically be in there. So does Silvarius hear it, or does Kedox hear it? And does it?
Yes. You'd be right on the edge of that 100 feet, realistically.
Okay.
Because you're probably like off the edge of the map, but not by much at this point. And the road's windy, so.
Kedox conveys a sense of just yes. and then starts scurrying kind of like from the rooftop to like the edge, and he'll hop to an adjacent rooftop, like glide over to one, and kind of keep a distant eye, just kind of tracing. Sylvaris commands Kedox to just pursue, stealthily pursue, and just observe.
Okay.
And once Kedox gets out of range, Sylvaris's eyes will like fog back into normality, and he'll convey that to whoever's around. Are the others still in Kelly's with him? Morden Shrine?
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll just say, he says, Kedox is following someone. Eska's out there, but I could not see her. They're heading toward the gate.
For what it's worth, when Eska sees Kedox begin to make that pursuit, she will give a slight sort of nod, sort of half nod bow towards Kedox and turn around and head back. But she will take the route behind the house and the Smith house, and while she feels like she is unobserved, blink back to normal.
Make a stealth check for Kedox, please. Dice was a 15, so 19?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Kedox does a good job of just like going across the roofs while using convenient chimneys and stuff to provide cover.
Does he occasionally perch on the edge of a roof and kind of strike a pose as if he was a gargoyle whenever she looks round?
I don't know. Eli, does he do that?
No, so Kedox is too serious for that.
Well,
Oh man, I thought that's where Sylvaris' sense of humor lived. It's all in Kedox.
Nope, not there either.
He doesn't have like a little newspaper with him with eye holes cut out that he kind of puts up in front of him every now and again.
So, this person keeps walking, for now, towards the west gate. In the meantime, so Eska, you're doubling back now towards the shrine?
Yeah, her heart's still kind of racing, but she's realizing that it is a bit of a wild chase, and figures consultation is the way to go. So yeah, she doubles back, she zips behind that house and then behind the Smith house, and alters form back
to
Eska, and meets back up with Claire and Bardur.
Eska, where have you been?
I tried to chase her, but she seemed nervy, and I realized I didn't know how far I was willing to go. But I think Kedox may be on her trail, for what it's worth. Sorry about that. You don't see many moon elves, and one that was watching us, it was all a little there was a lot going on there.
Claire had looked pretty like frantic before then, but whereas I feel like her response would be much different if this was a conversation with Sylvaris. Eska's very like mellow tone. You can like kind of just see her like physically come down a little bit. And yeah, just kind of shakes her head and says, "Next time, please don't run off without at least letting us know what you're doing."
I gave you that signal. You surely recognize my hand signals.
I'm just shaking my head, just like...
When I ran past, I gave you the hand signal for I've changed my form to another elf and I'm pursuing the moon elf. You got that, right?
That is a really specific hand signal, and I don't think we've gone over that.
We probably should practice them more often. You're right. Well, at some point, we'll just spend a couple of weeks going through all of them.
Yep. How do you spend your downtime days? Well, let me tell you. Yeah, right. Montage.
Learning our friend's weirdly specific
Yeah.
sign language.
And what you
Dialect.
find is, to an outside observer, 90% of them look the same.
Yep.
Yeah. Feels like DC 25 intelligence checks to remember what the hell that signal means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's either that one signal or it's you thinking she's about to kill you. Like she's
Uh-huh.
plotting your death.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's one or the other.
Yeah.
The secret's not in her hands, but in the eyebrows.
Yeah.
That's the trick.
It's all in
I
the
can't
arch
see
of the
the eye.
eyebrows and how much I'm wiggling my ears. Which is
Good
tricky
eye-
because you can't
eye
usually see them.
disadvantage.
Now, the hooded ears really makes it difficult.
Yeah. I had a bit of an emotional reaction to seeing her, but on top of that, she was watching us, right?
Claire
Uh,
nods
look-
enthusiastically.
Which
Yeah.
is potentially worrying.
Exactly, which is why you shouldn't ever run off on your own.
You're right. You're right.
Is
I was on the edge of, if I hadn't have seen Kedox up there, we may not be having this conversation. I don't know, it just got the better of me.
that a moon elf thing? You just kind of watch people?
I mean, yes and no. I do. People watching is fun, but sort of, lurking behind houses, watching people, that's less above board feeling. And honestly, I mean, it's not that we don't go into towns, but we're more at ease out of towns, as you may have noticed, and so to see one of my kind in a town, it's not, obviously it's not unheard of, but it's it just immediately rings an alarm bell in my head.
Silvarius.
Mhm.
It's about this time that Kedox returns to you. And what you get from Kedox is the image of an inn. There is a sign on the inn. Well, you get a series of images. So first, there is a large plot of land, which is kind of unusual here. Like it's a walled off area. Mostly green spaces, a lot of nice built up trees, like old trees, very tall trees. On this big triangular plot of land. With a house that is a very grand stone house, 3 floors, with a series of pools in that seem to form some sort of waterfall on one side. Then you get the image of an inn right next to that stone wall complex, and then you get the image of the sign of the inn. You can't see the writing, but you can see the image on the inn, and it appears to be some sort of fiend chuckling.
Oh, is this that place that we were saying that we needed to go? Or I was saying we needed to go?
So you get the implication that this is where the elf may have gone.
Okay. Coming back to, I would look to Kelly and inquire about. And has any of that been familiar before? I personally don't remember it. I'm trying to think back.
Don't believe so.
Okay. I would Yes. So Savaris would look to Kelly and yeah, he would say, Kelly, is there an inn with some form of truckling demon or fiend upon its sign?
Sounds a little familiar. I don't tend to visit many establishments like that, but it sounds a little familiar. No, I mean there's not one right here.
Can I make a history check?
You may.
It hurts me. It hurts me so. Oh dear. Should I just start rolling these with disadvantage to really lean into it?
Usually you don't need to.
I know. Okay.
Oh.
18.
Okay.
I know my ends. Haha.
You do. You know this one mainly because it has a reputation as somewhere that you typically would not have gone. It is deep in the Harlhoun district. And it's called the Merry Demon. And it is located just outside of the Harlhounds, their sort of like big home complex, which is called High House.
Is this one of the satraps or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I will convey that information to the rest of the group.
Are you guys coming outside?
Yeah, I'd say we'd probably come outside.
Yeah, that's what I figured too.
Hey guys,
Yes.
there's a moon elf that just was watching us and ran off. I sent Kedox after her. I hope you don't mind, Silverius. That sounds like a no. You don't mind. Good.
It sounded important in light of our situation. Where were you?
Me? I was trying to keep eyes on her. But I decided I should probably come back.
It seems as if we have a residence. Are we to further investigate?
Might be smart. Somebody's got their eye on us.
Eska said it was a moon elf, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now what would other moon elves be doing here?
Would I know anything about Moon? Could I do like just a history of just like their general like maybe alignment type of, kind of like a what they tend to be?
Yeah. Go ahead. This would be. You can choose whichever stat you think is most appropriate, and that will inform the type of information you get.
Okay.
Strength.
I think it would probably be
definitely
more
strength.
for her. I think it would probably be more history because it probably isn't something she's experienced, but maybe something she's read about.
Okay. Fire away.
It's my best stat. Yeah, 24.
Okay. So, moon elves are historically pretty heavily chaotic. Typically good. They are often sort of bundled in with high elves, but
How dare you?
they are distinct to those who do a bit more research. Often moon elves tend to be fairly nomadic rather than settling down. You wouldn't typically find one sort of like with like a shop or something like that, because that's too static as a rule for them.
Good question, Silverius.
His eyes actually kind of linger on Eska for like a second longer.
If it helps, I am as in the dark as you. Hence my reaction to attempt to chase.
As a reminder, it is quite cold outside.
Ooh.
Tavares smiles. He likes the
Uh,
cold.
It's probably, right around freezing, give or take. Wind is not too bad, but it's cold and the snow is still gently falling. Despite lunchtime approaching.
I don't know what to make of that all, if that's something we should follow up on, or if that's something we should just keep in mind to keep an eye out for. I don't think
Well-
up to this point we've had, outside of certain tentacle-based people, we haven't had too many issues with people watching us that I can remember.
No, but it is concerning that someone else besides the tentacle head is watching us.
That's true.
They have some form of motive for doing as such, even if it's you, Eska.
Yes, that does really pique my curiosity.
Tavares' eyes squint, and he's looking at Eska, and he's, I have an understanding, to a degree, why the others are here. Why were you here? Originally, at the inn, where Duarte met us.
I was actually looking for company. Company I could trust. And on my way down here, I laid eyes on Cassette travelling into town. And there was something about Cassette that felt right, felt like a potential ally.
She gives a weird look that kind of warms up when she says, that felt right.
I had my fair share of problems with people on the road, trying to take advantage or, pretend that they were your friend only to rob you in the night. It made me get my guard up somewhat, look for somebody that was truly trustworthy. And I think I've admitted it to Cassette, but I watched her for a little while to see what she was like, and she seemed about as pure as you could get.
And what sent you on this trust
On this.
search?
Oh, what sent me on the search for trust? I needed to better myself, and as you know, I've begun to see these unusual powers begin to manifest. I wanted a safe space to be able to, I guess train is not really the right word, but test out what I can do and improve my capabilities within a safe group. That kind of went out of the window as soon as we got here, but I still feel like I have fallen into a good group.
Does everything sound true and on the up and up? If I may inquire.
So Varys, I would say you don't detect anything immediately that feels like untruth.
Okay.
At the end, she says, "Honest, Gov."
You still have a hard time reading Eska,
As always.
but it doesn't feel like untruth right now.
Okay. He'll nod to that.
If it helps, I didn't bring a secret posse of moon elf spies.
That was not exactly my concern.
Okay, good.
Is what another one is doing here. Eyeing us. My assumption is you are the likely candidate.
Let me say this. If I am, then I very much wish to get to the bottom of why as well. I don't believe there should be any moon elves who know me.
He kind of side eyes you. He's like, not all moon elves hate dragons, do they?
Probably not.
Just you then.
Well, I don't want to get too, But yes, it's not a thing of our people to hate you. I must admit I am torn as to why she may have been watching. Whether it was me or... I mean, we've done so many things now. Who can even say?
It's almost lunchtime, and I'm feeling hungry and cold, so why don't we go over to that inn? Maybe we see who it is. Have a conversation, maybe.
Bardo, what do you know of this tavern?
What do I know, Phil, based upon that roll of 18?
Not a lot directly, because that just wasn't your part of town.
Right.
By reputation, it's okay. Probably fall somewhere in the middle of Bucket of Blood and the Traveler's Respite in terms of accommodation and so on.
It's pretty swanky. Never really been over there much, though, but that's what I heard. Not really my part of town. But I don't think they turn us away, so...
I guess there's no real reason not to head that way and see what happens then.
If we don't see her or him, I don't even know. If we don't see him, then we don't need to push. But at least we can take a look.
Sounds fair enough to me. If all are willing.
I start walking towards that inn.
I'll start walking too.
Do you guys feel like I should come in or stay outside? Is it too overt for me to walk in? Do you want to have the element of... I don't know what to do, really.
Just come inside. It's fine.
Okay.
Whoever it was, they know who we are. Is my thought.
Probably so.
Might even be part of their plan.
So, you head over there. It takes 10-15 minutes to get there. Something like that. So you see the corner of the walled compound, I suppose, possibly estate. It is a tall, maybe 10-foot wall. Slightly taller in places. Made of very large, well-shaped stone. Very, very sturdy looking wall. And so you kind of see the corner of it on the main road that you're following that leads along towards the west gate. And you can see up at the corner there where the wall sort of goes into a corner and then heads down the main street and then down one of the side streets. You see right at the top in the corner there's a halfling with a crossbow, just sort of like leaning up against the wall. Right near the top, you can kind of see, just sort of about yay high, but you can see the crossbow sat next to them. And they're wearing a very deep sort of bluey green tunic over what looks like studded leather armor.
Is this the inn or the?
No, this is the complex, like the compound for High House.
Okay.
So
as
so
you're
it's
approaching.
sort of semi-fortified.
Yes, that's accurate. I would say semi-fortified is about right.
Okay.
How long is the wall?
Well, that's a good question. You don't really know, because you get about halfway. Well, I say halfway along. You get some amount along. About what would it be? We'll say about 100 yards. And you come to. So on the left-hand side, you just have the wall, basically. There's no gates that you've encountered yet. No entrances at all. No windows. It's just this huge wall on the left-hand side as you walk past. On the right-hand side, there's small wooden housing, the occasional stone house. Nothing too grand. And then as another road intersects the main road you're on that corner is a large 2-story building, a mixture of timber and stone combined. There's a large double door, wooden door entrance, with on each of the doors you see a 6-foot tall carving of a demon chuckling, and you see the sign Silverius swinging gently in the little breeze with a little bit of snow just stuck to the very top of the sign that Kedox sent you an image of earlier, showing that this is indeed the Merry Demon. And to the left, where the road, so you sort of, where the road meets the other road, I guess, where the roads meet, there we go, the intersection, the wall is still completely solid. Nothing. And as you look down, you just see the wall keep going and then curve around slightly to the left to where you can't see. After about 20 or 30 yards, it curves away, so you can't see where a gatehouse might be even. But yeah, you are standing in the snow just outside of the Merry Demon.
Eska will. She probably has her hood up anyway, but she pulls it as far forward as she can.
Yep. No one's going to think twice about that. It's not a good day.
Well, I'm gonna mosey on up to go inside to get warm, if nothing else.
Gonna kind of linger behind Silverius.
Yeah, I'll be right behind Bardur.
Yeah, so new place, that means Claire is as close to underfoot with Silvarius as she can be without actually pissing him off.
Okay. So you head inside, and first impression is it's very warm. It just comes as a little bit of a shock given the cold outside. There is on both sides of the main sort of downstairs area, there's a large fire burning at either end of this long bar room. The back wall is mostly bar, and then on the sort of far right corner, you can see there's stairs lead up behind the bar towards what you assume are the accommodations. There's a number of tables. It's fairly fairly empty in here right now. Does not appear to be a lot of patrons at all. You do see a fairly kind-looking male dwarf, balding slightly, with a slightly scraggly, graying beard, who just sort of gives you a little wave as you come in. There's maybe 15 tables available between the two fireplaces. Only a couple of them actually have people at them right now. And then there's a lot of space at the bar itself too. It runs probably, what would that be, 30, 40 feet in length. So it's a goodly sized bar. And you actually see in the behind the bar, the top shelf has an interesting array of unusual drinking vessels from all over the place. You see just weird shapes, weird materials, some very long and thin, some very wide and shallow. One that appears to be in the shape of a boot with a handle on the side. There's all sorts there. But they seem to have, for reasons presently unknown, just an odd collection of things you can drink out of.
Was the dwarf that greeted us, did he seem like the barman?
You would assume so.
Okay. So I'll just kind of give a wave, and probably find a seat at a table. Just one. I mean, if it's super warm, I guess we don't necessarily need to get too close to a fire. So maybe sit next to the door.
Okay, easy enough.
That's where I would go. Table next to the door, just in case we need to get out quick.
Well, Bartender's kind of waving the barman down. Silvarius is panning the room looking for what he saw through Kedox's eyes.
Okay. No need to roll here. There's so few people that it's pretty easy to see. Close to one of the fires on the right-hand side as you walk in, sitting at the table nearest it, you see a red-skinned female with small horns, and bright blonde curly hair, wearing some sort of leather armor. And she is just sitting, staring at a glass of what is probably wine. It's something dark red anyway. But she is alone at the fire closest, or the table closest to the fire on the right. A couple of tables away, you see a female halfling, round face, dark hair, wearing some form of chainmail, and a very large maul propped up against the table, eating food and in conversation with another halfling, older, white hair, also in male, and with well, she actually has a spear that's just resting on the round table they're sitting at, that kind of just goes the length of the table, and they're just talking quietly amongst themselves. And then off to the left, you see a slightly familiar sight. You see a red-headed dwarf, beard, surly, leather armor, large flagon of ale, and for a second, you feel like you're just looking at Bardor until you realize he's standing next to you. And you realize this dwarf has a couple of scars, and that makes him stand apart from Bardor. Visible scar running across the cheek. What you do not see is any sign of a moon elf besides the one you walked in with.
He'll just he'll stand and like look around, and after he's eyed the room, find himself a seat with the rest of the Hand of Aegis.
While he does that, Claire wants to know the level of actual swankiness compared to a normal person to Bardor's level.
Sure.
Swank check.
Yeah,
So-
literally swank chat.
For this, I want you to roll for me, please. You have? Do you have? You have brewer supplies. Are you proficient with brewer supplies, or do you just have them?
I am proficient.
Okay. Give me a brewer's supply roll with advantage.
Yeah, the first one was better anyway, so 16.
Okay. So you know taverns. You know the family business is alcohol. So you know what's a good tavern, what's a bad tavern. It's becoming pretty clear that Bardor has a very skewed view of the world. You kind of already knew that. This is very okay. The collection of drinking vessels intrigues you a little bit because some of them you've seen, some of them you definitely haven't. And you think there's actually a couple that look like some of the more eccentric drinking vessels that you might find back home, or at least very close variations on them. So you have a feeling that they've probably just been gathering from all over Faerun. So the more interesting things they can find that you can put liquid into and then drink out of. But yeah, this is decidedly all right as far as taverns go.
They don't have any commemorative Badger Downs cups, do they?
There is a distinct lack of those. They may not have. They just may not have got hold of one yet.
Claire's got the collector's item.
Yeah, right. And as Claire is looking around and assessing it, and probably with a bit of a scorn in her face that I don't notice at all, and I'm like, look at him and I'm like, I told you, swanky.
She just looks at him in a vague expression of horror mixed with confusion.
I picture like the floor being like a fake deep like red plush velvet type thing. It's just what I see. I don't know. I'm not gonna put that out there, but that's what I visualized.
Maybe that's what Bardor is seeing. Everyone else,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
just sees very worn wooden floors.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's
With
just like, man,
some puddles where snow
ice.
has been dragged in and then melted. As you sit, the dwarf putters over. Hello there. Welcome to the Merry Demon. What'll it be for you?
Beer
Got that, right?
and some form of stew would probably be good for today.
Okay. I can do boiled mutton, or I got roasted goose. That's what I have available.
Goose sounds good.
Right. Same for everyone?
Aye.
Claire
Yeah, that
nods.
sounds
but
good.
She doesn't. Claire nods, but she doesn't look happy about it.
So the dwarf putters back to the bar, and you hear some clanking, and cups are assembled. And he there's a door underneath the stairs. Like as the stairs go up, there's a door over here that he sort of sticks his head through and yells something to someone or other through the doorway. Comes back over, pops down 5 mugs of apparently beer, and quickly leaves you alone to talk.
Is this one big open room?
Yeah, side to side, the whole thing is open. It's not very deep. It's mostly wide with those 2 big fires.
And they're on the long ends of the... Or are they on the short ends of the walls?
So
Of
they
the room.
the fires.
Yeah.
The fires are sort of like far left, far right on the wider.
Okay.
Yeah.
Multi-story building?
Yes. Yeah, as far as you know, it definitely goes up. Could go down. Always possible. And you do see running across the ceiling some nice thick wooden beams that go the entire length of the room, rather than the sensible thing you think, which would have been to go across. These go the full length of the building. So they were probably very costly to find a beam that large.
Silvaris takes a large sip from his ale, and he crosses his arms and like kind of sits back against his chair, and his eyes will fog over. And Kedox was previously outside, and he's just gonna go through Kedox and start inspecting out and around the outside of the building, and kind of scoping out through the windows, just looking, scouting around for this strange figure that they saw. Unless anyone directly speaks with him.
Roll perception for Kedox again.
That is a 5.
Okay. So Kedox flies up and starts sort of like peering in through the windows upstairs. And first couple of rooms are just empty. Third room he gets to, the windows are open. And he doesn't see anyone immediately, and kind of gets a little closer. And all of a sudden, you see this large hand come from underneath the windowsill and just swat him away. And then the window's quickly closed.
Everybody sees Silvaris actively flinch.
Just don't really pay attention. Just eating the soup as it drips down the beard.
It just happens where everybody's like, they're eating, and he just goes, whoop, and kind of like doesn't say anything. It's almost like he was like asleep.
Claire is actually over in the corner. You see her testing the beer like she does the potions when she finds them. The pinky and like, yeah.
Smelling.
It's actually better than you expected. It seems to have been dwarf made at least. And you know that in general, any dwarf made beer is even bad dwarf made beer is better than like 90% of human made beer. So, it's only so bad it can be.
She looks shocked, mildly impressed, and much happier.
Just then, the barman comes back with 2 full roast geese, one in each hand, not like they're on trays, and just pops them down in the middle of the table. And all right, there you go. And disappears again.
Where is he disappearing to?
Just behind the bar. He's not like disappearing. He's just going and doing that thing that barmen do where they just pick up a cleanish cup, grab a questionably cleanish cloth of some sort, and just idly sort of like move whatever dirt there is just around the inside of the mug for 15 seconds, and then find another one, and then just push whatever dirt is around there, just keep swirling it around, and not actually achieving anything, just very idly keeping busy. You think they've convinced themselves that they're cleaning it, but that's about it. He seems very disinterested in you.
So when you say he seems very disinterested, does he seem very... Whenever he comes over, does he seem completely nonplussed by Eska?
Make an insight roll.
Natural 20 for 24.
Jesus. It's two.
That's all I'm rolling from now on.
Remember this: when you miss every enemy we fight next
I
time.
know.
Yeah, that was literally what I was thinking.
I will.
You
As soon as I try to do anything like important or sneaky, I'm done for.
The Brit goes, I will. Oh no. All right.
Mm-hmm.
You think when you first sort of come in, and you sort of see him see you, you think there's like a brief moment, some sort of recognition. But other than that, there's no obvious attitude towards you one way or another. But you do catch just that brief glimpse before his sort of bored barman face returns.
I guess Eska's been stewing on that fact since they came in. And she says, I'm just gonna go chat with him real fast. And she will wander over to the bar and say, I had a friend that I was gonna meet here that came in a little earlier. Fellow elf like myself, but she doesn't seem to be here. Did she come in and leave? She get a room?
He kind of looks at you for a second and says, look like you. Does she? With the... He just kind of points to the hair.
Yeah, somewhat like me.
Didn't stay long.
Just popped in? Huh. Does that seem convincing?
You can make an insight check.
Oh, rats. This is the one I should have used.
Come on, natural 20.
Oh, 22?
You get the feeling he's not being entirely truthful.
I say, how much for a room here? Maybe we can catch back up later. Maybe I'll stay.
It's a golden night per person.
When you say gold, do you mean 5 copper?
Nope.
Hang on a moment. She'll wander back to the table. Cassette, I hate to be frivolous with group funds, but may I borrow a gold? When I say borrow, it's probably not coming back.
Cassette gives her a gold.
Thank you. Apologies. I'll try and pay this back at some point. And she wanders back over to the bar. Gold.
Just the one of you? Alright.
Is it per person or per room?
Person.
I'll be right back. She wanders over to the table. Listen, I want to check out this place, but I figured if I just tried to wander back there, he may get fidgety. So I booked a room, but it's just a gold per person. I feel like it might be good to at least have one other person, just in case something surprising is back there.
1 gold a person.
I know it's ridiculous.
Good gracious.
I'd say you could come try haggle him down, but I feel like your thing is probably going to just be we should stay somewhere else.
Well, I'm slightly upset with myself for suggesting this place now. And no, is this bad?
Do you want
Mid-bite
to...
Sylvarius is just like, this goose is not very good either.
There is some hazelnut bread alongside it, if that makes you feel any better. Probably not.
So
He
Various,
looks to you as
would you like to book a place as well?
one. So this is what we are doing now.
Well, something. She kind of leans in and sort of whispers. I feel like he wasn't being entirely truthful when he said that he saw her, but she just popped in and out. There was something slightly off with it, and it's made me curious. / worried. I'd go back there by myself, but I feel like a bit of muscle to back me up in case it's a trap might not be a bad thing.
He takes a deep breath. Why not? Spits out a piece of fat.
You don't seem to be enjoying the goose anyway. Bardo obviously doesn't care about the quality of the food, so he can keep eating. Normally I'd invite him, but he looks pretty satisfied.
Bring it over.
So, Cassette, may I borrow another gold? And when I say borrow, I don't really mean...
She already has the gold out. You look over to her, she's already holding it out.
Thank you. I'll try and remember to pay this back later. And she wanders back to the bar. And my gentleman friend here is also going to book a room.
He just raises an eyebrow.
As I walk away, Cassette goes, they realize how that looks, right?
He slides the gold off the counter. Reaches down. He has to travel about 10-15 feet down the bar, and you hear a little jingling, and he comes back with 2 keys. They just fairly simple brass keys with a little chain, and there's a door number carved into a little wooden toggle on each one.
She takes the keys, says, "Thank you. Oh boy, I'm super tired after that goose. Do you fancy? Should we go to bed, Silvarius?"
His eyebrow goes higher still.
Sylvarius' eyebrow is kind of like, huh? He's just...
You look tired. Might be worth heading back to our rooms and sleeping. Eska regrets not bringing Bardo now.
He just extends his hand out like after you kind of presentation.
All right. Well, good night, everyone. And she
So
will...
at about 12:30
PM.
Head up the stairs that lead. Sort of, it goes behind the bar and upstairs.
When they get out of earshot, Eska says, "Severus, I'm not sure. I thought you were up with the plan here. We're not going to bed."
Climb the wall.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure you were on board. We're gonna take
When
a look
I say this was my first time, it's not how I mean it.
Okay, I feel like this has got weirdly uncomfortable, but let's push past that, try and complete our task. And when I say complete our task, I mean searching for strange... You know what? Okay. Eska just turns and starts heading towards, so I guess seeing what's up the stairs.
Okay. So the staircase is it's actually quite wide. About 8 feet wide. Has a slightly raggedy carpet up sort of like the middle 2/3 basically. Looks well worn. And roughly every other stair creaks very loudly as you head up, especially less so for Eska, but very much so for Silverius. In fact, it's almost every step for Silverius. You get to the top. There's a large landing, and it becomes clear that while the sort of front room is relatively narrow, the building clearly extends reasonably far at the back because it's there's rooms on either side of this sort of landing area that you find yourselves on, and there's probably about 10 rooms up here in total, on both sides of this landing area. Actually, let's say 11 rooms. That makes more sense. And so you look at the keys, and you have rooms 5 and 8 are the keys that you were given. And the room directly like opposite the stairs is room 3. I'm having to logic that in my head real quick. Yes, room 3 is the one that's sort of like directly in front of you. Door is closed. You see to your left on the wall away from you, you see one door is open. The next door along is closed, has a number 2 on it. Then 4 also looks to be closed, 5 is open, and then the very end is room 6. But that also appears to be open. Room 7 looks closed, 8 is open. 9 is closed. And then to your left are 10 and 11, and they are both open.
Okay, that was a lot of information.
Yep. Yep. I have nothing to write with.
So Eska's first gonna have a quick scoot around and just glance in the open doors, because that seems like a way to... Now, the other thing I will ask is there anything... Does everything kind of logic out with what we'd imagine would be up here? Does that make sense?
You, broadly speaking, yes. It just looks like there's more building behind where, like, the back area where you assume the kitchen is ends up being must be bigger than you assumed it was. Simply based on how big you assume these bedrooms are. There's just sort of more room than you expect.
So sort of
there.
like towards the back on the ground floor, maybe the kitchen is bigger, or
Yes.
or it takes up more. There is more space down there than one would imagine for a regular kitchen.
Yes. It's also entirely possible, given the way that some of the buildings just develop here, that somehow this establishment ended up with more upstairs than downstairs, because some of that downstairs got claimed by the building next door or something like that. You never know.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, she'll first peek in all the empty doors and just make sure they're empty rooms.
Okay, so of course I absolutely remember which ones I said were open and closed.
So very
Good, because I'm glad one of us did.
Silverius, just stand right there for a moment. You're there as backup emergency measure, if that's okay.
He nods.
Oh.
While he's up here too, he sends Kedox back into the building from the front door, and Kedox lands at the table where Savarius was sitting in front of everybody else. As like props up, like sits there almost like, or he just sits there and he kind of like stares at every single one of them for like a second, and then just stares forward. At Cosette, Claire, and then Barter.
Do you guys do anything, given that he just pops up like that?
I don't know if I'm paying attention to it, to be honest.
Fair. So, if you're working in numerical order, one is open. One is open. And so you can just stroll down there. Are you trying to move quietly, given the understanding that the floorboards are probably creaky? Or no? Okay, you're happy just walking. Okay.
No, the rooms that aren't our room, I will say, if the floorboards creak when I go into them, I'll just kind of exclaim, "Oh, not this one." These numbers are very confusing.
Okay. As you go into room 1, roll a percentile dice.
60.
Okay. It does not creak as you walk in. So you walk in, and you see the room is about. How big is this room? Okay, it's about 10 foot by 10 foot, give or take. This room you see 2 beds. One that looks very messy. The covers are all over the place. There's a small chest at the end of each bed. And underneath the window, there's a very small bookcase that appears empty.
I'm not going to do a thorough search of the open rooms.
Okay.
I'm just going to kind of like put my head in the door, glance around.
Sure thing. So, rooms 2, 3, 4 are closed. 5 is one of the ones you have a key for, is currently open. As you go inside, you see basically the same thing you saw in room 1, except the beds appear to be made. You do note with a... well, you just note, I'll let you decide how you feel about it, that there are 2 beds in every room, apparently.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I'll let you decide. But nothing immediately stands out from the first room.
Okay.
6 is closed. Closed. 6 is closed. 7 is closed. No, 7 is open.
Do you want me to close the ones that are open just to make it easier for you?
No.
Okay.
That would mess up my diagram that I obviously prepared long before we got here. I just keep missing parts of it. It's fine. 7 is open. Looks very much like the other 2. 8. And I guess I should say 7 has beds made. 8, beds made. 9 is closed. 10, both beds are messy. And you actually see a lock on the right-hand chest. And then 11, doors open, and one of the beds is messy.
Boy, that's a lot of information. But no elves. You didn't mention any elves.
No, there doesn't seem to be anybody in any of the rooms. Roll. Sorry, roll me 2 more percentile dice, please.
8969.
Okay.
Nice.
No creaking whatsoever. Apparently, the floorboards in the bedrooms way better than the stairs.
Surely in 69 it's a bit creaky.
Weirdly
Oh,
not.
gosh.
Okay. Alright. So next, she just sort of shakes her head at Silverius. She's just going to listen for a few moments at each of the locked doors, best she can.
Okay. Give me a perception check, and just stay hovered over that.
10.
I don't hear anything at room 2.
5. /1.
You are listening at room 3. You accidentally get a little bit close and gently headbutt the door. Just gently.
I immediately knock gently and say, "Room service. Is it okay if we come in?"
There's no response.
Okay, good. Just on my way in, and I will put the key in the lock. And I know it's the wrong key, but I'm just gonna like make as if I'm putting the key in the lock.
Okay. Make another perception check.
Did I rolled another. What boy? 2 20s, 2 1s. So that's another 5.
Oh wow! Back to back.
Okay. As you sort of jiggle the key around, you can't hear anything over the sound of brass not turning a lock. Obviously, the key doesn't turn in the lock.
Okay.
You try the handle or not?
I did a little knock, and then I just sort of tried to wiggle the key in the door a touch.
Okay.
But
But you're
it's
not
just-
actually trying to open the door?
No.
Okay.
It was just in the
Alright.
hopes that it might sort of trigger a reaction.
Yep.
But she kind of soon gives up and moves on to the next one and listens. She feels increasingly like this was a big mistake. But you know,
Yeah,
she's
right there. Roll perception.
she's partway through now.
Silvarius behind Eska the whole time, standing there with that like, "What are you doing?" hand gesture.
6.
I think you hear a little faint noise, but nothing much.
Okay. Onwards.
Okay, again, on room 6 now.
18.
Okay, you listen carefully. You don't hear anything.
Okay. 22.
You hear pretty faintly.
Are you doing something, Phil?
Can you not hear it?
No.
Oh, it's too faint.
Really lean into it. Oh boy.
It's definitely an elf.
Does that sound like a moon elf snore, or
From memory, it would be unusual for a moon elf to make that sort of noise.
Okay. Have I got any doors left? I thought there was going to be so much fewer rooms. I'm sorry, everybody.
No, there's you have no more closed doors.
Should we try? Oh,
Before you do, can I have everyone downstairs make a perception check for me?
11.
Also 11.
Oh,
Come on.
so close.
Sorry, 17.
Just
Um,
like barter.
And
Ruins everything.
Kedox as well, please.
5.
Okay. So Kedox is just very much... He's watching the barman right now. Not really paying a lot of attention to anything else. Just steely gaze from his slightly glowing eyes. Claire Cassette, you're just having a conversation. Bardor, you feel like you hear a little thud outside. Nothing loud. Just a little thud.
Back to the goose.
Eska, you have completed your listening of the rooms.
Is there any chance I hear a little thud outside?
Nope.
I return to Silverius and I say, I don't know what to do now. Do you have any ideas? I didn't hear anything. I heard one person snoring, but it sounded more dwarfish.
Whoa.
I accidentally offered one person room service. I mean, I was hoping to maybe hear a little thud or something at some point, but it just never came. Any thoughts about what we should do? I was hoping that there would be more than just... I don't know what I was hoping for.
And you said you did not trust the barman.
It was just something slightly off about his answer that threw me. It just didn't feel quite as sincere as I'd have thought. I didn't want to push him though, because we really don't know what's going on.
Seeing as you have already invested in an exorbitant, expensive room, let us at least check those.
Is that your way of saying... What are you saying, Silverius?
Let's search the rooms for which the keys we were given.
Oh, okay. I mean, I had a quick look in, but yeah, we could... here's your room key, so you know where you're going. I'll have a quick pat down with the other one.
He kind of takes it from her and just starts heading over to number 8.
Sure. Yep.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. And what are you going to do in there?
I'm gonna open the door.
It's open?
Oh, it's already open?
Yep.
Oh, we had keys to open rooms?
Yep.
Oh,
So you can lock
what
them.
sense would that make? So you can lock them.
Mm.
Sorry, I got lost in the details. There was lots of them.
Hold on. Are you saying I spent too long describing which doors were open and which doors were closed? Because that doesn't sound like something I would do.
I missed the fact that our rooms were already open.
Eska tries to sort of look like she's looking in her room again, just to sort of make Silverius happy, but she knows she's already looked in it.
Make an investigation check with disadvantage, Eska.
Because I'm not really trying very hard.
That is correct. Silverius, are you going to ransack your room?
Yeah, but thoroughly.
Yep. You can make just a regular investigation check.
Regular.
7.
A unnatural 20.
Okay. Eska, you just sort of do that thing where you just walk up to something, lift it briefly, put it back. You kind of like look under the pillows, very half-heartedly. You open the chest, not expecting to see anything. You actually see a couple of copper pieces in the bottom of one of the chests.
I would feel bad to take those. They may be somebody else's, so I leave them.
When the GM tries to hand you money,
I'll pay you.
I mean-
I'll pay you back.
This
Yeah,
is literally the
I'll do
part.
that.
This is literally the part in the RPG where you go into every room and break the basket.
I know.
right?
The gamer in me
Pottery
feels
in the corner.
the gamer in me
You're
feels very
the
wrong.
ethical. You're the ethical driver in GTA, where you're like, I can't run over the people because they have families.
Yeah. I mean, the person who stayed here last may want to come back, and you know, they might realize they lost it.
I did used to stop at all the stoplights in the old Need for Speed games.
I mean, to be fair, the person I was saying about the GT, that was me. So I was trying to throw it off. I
Yep.
was like, that wasn't me. It was. I was like, these people don't need to die today.
You're like, oh wait, did that just change to a 45? Yikes! Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just pull that back a little bit.
Yeah, I know.
So Varys, you take a probably slightly more heavy-handed approach.
He's just
I
throwing
assume.
his-
I mean, I don't think you're breaking things, but you're
No,
just
no.
looking with more intent. What you can deduce as you're going through. Unfortunately, in your room, the chests are empty. What you can tell is that the mattresses are no good. As you kind of sit down, it's a little lumpy. And you kind of pull back the covers, and there is an indentation in the bed on the left. And you sort of take a moment, kind of sit back in it, and lie down. And it is. You feel like whoever was lying here obviously had been there fairly consistently and was slightly bigger than you. Which does not happen very often around these parts. And clearly they must have stayed here a lot to make that kind of indentation as well. You check the other bed out, and whoever was staying there was much smaller. Human or elf-sized. Similar to Cassette and Eska.
Okay. So we have doppelgangers of us.
Oh no.
The
Hold
plot
on.
thickens.
Let me just
Yeah.
make a note.
Savaris whips out a magnifying glass.
It was doppelgangers all along. Okay, thank you. Keep that in my back pocket for later.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah, so that's what you find in there.
That's the main deductions.
Yep.
On a is there any other rooms inside this room?
You check. You slide the furniture a little bit, knock on the walls. Try and find a book to pull back on the bookshelf, but there isn't one. No apparent hidden compartments in here.
He kind of whispers to himself, "There's got to be a restroom here somewhere."
The bed's fine.
Oh no!
When you gotta go, you gotta go.
Savaris walks back over to the bed, and the camera pans away.
Yeah.
So Various, what are you doing? The humanity.
Oh my.
Me and Liz were discussing
Yeah.
shipping names.
Yeah, we were
I didn't know if it was going to be
literally
like
so Casca
or
and
Sylvester.
No, I think the shipping name would be Silverius. So maybe you'll put an E in there somewhere to denote that Eska's involved. But that's about it.
The ESKA is silent.
The way she should be.
Oh dear.
oh my god.
Yikes. Big yikes.
Oh man.
So, pressing on. Where we left off, Eska and Silverius were reconvening in the landing on the top flight of the Merry Demon. And the rest of you are downstairs. Yep, that's it. That's what's happened.
As me and Silvarius and Eska convene at the top flight, Silvarius stops and he kind of reaches into his pouch and he pulls out the horn that Gorbo had given him. And he's looking at it and he looks at Eska. And he's...
Are you feeling horny, Silvarius?
Oh my good gracious.
I thought we were family friendly.
Emphasis on were.
This is
Were.
42. The answer.
His eyebrows kind of like flutter and he's like, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
You know I am.
Oh god.
Oh. Where do we go from here?
I don't know.
Eska
I think
casts
my
friends on
soul
Silvarius.
actually cringed inside of my body. Like,
I mean, we were thinking about ending early tonight, so I don't know really.
Can we take another break?
we just reset. Walk
Everyone-
away, come back. and
Everyone just go
explain.
take a cold shower.
Point. Load from the last save point, please.
50 Shades of Silver.
So Eska just says, I feel like this is not panned out. Perhaps we should. Perhaps I misread him. I don't know.
At the very least, we have filled our bellies. Not much that we have discovered here, but we are aware there is another of your kind floating about and trying not to be discovered. So there is that.
That's true. And even if we take what he said at face value, she did come in briefly. So that, perhaps this is somewhere she frequents, or I don't know. Maybe something to think about another time.
Aye.
She kind of walks down the stairs somewhat dejectedly.
Silvarius just goes stomping down the stairs.
You guys can hear Silverius coming down the stairs. It's not hard.
Just for the perception of the audience here, how long did that take?
10 minutes, probably.
Oof.
Yeah, that looks bad.
Silverius, that was not satisfying. I got nothing from that.
I mean, I didn't know what you were expecting, but
I mean, we tried.
Eska, did you get your money's worth?
Not really. Maybe next time I should take Badur. I don't know.
He said that without moving his lips.
They pulled the Silvarius.
Well, everybody, I'm sorry about that. That didn't really achieve a whole lot. Maybe I was wrong.
What were you hoping to achieve there?
I guess finding where she went.
Oh.
Whoever it was, they wish to remain hidden. They will undoubtedly reveal themselves when they desire, or we stumble across them again. Until then, we pick up where we left off. We are still planning towards Delzimur, are we not? Or Drakesburg.
Claire's just absent-mindedly in the corner, like prestidigitating, like the tables and.
That's great.
Well,
You see a note of appreciation from the barman.
I know we wanted to head to Drakesburg soon, but I thought you wanted to stop in with the builder real fast. And
Rolliver.
and Rolliver on the way, potentially, to finding, as he is down close by the docks. Should we run by the builders first?
That's certainly the closest.
Yeah, maybe that'd be a good idea. I think I need to get out of here, and cold air will wake me up a little bit.
So, you head be pretty close to north from where you're at. To get to Mason Power. Is everyone going in? Or is anyone not going in?
No, must go in, please.
Yeah, go in.
Eska's staying outside. She's gonna pull her hood up, kind of rest up against the building, and just keep an eye out for sort of moon elves.
Sylvaris, he'll hang back with Eska also, and Kedox will perch up somewhere high.
Ooh.
Guess that'll go in.
Okay. So you head in, and once again you see the resplendent marble throughout the building. And behind the rather exquisite marble desk, you see a familiar dwarf who smiles brightly as you come in. Yoo-hoo! Hello! And you see Bjorn welcoming you in.
Hello.
Hello!
Just checking in to see how things are going down by the old Quipper.
Oh, good. Yeah. The nobodies. So excellent. We've moved most of the rooks, and should be finished in 2 days, a little ahead of schedule.
It's good.
Mm-hmm. And we saved the stone, like you asked. What were you thinking? Do you know what you're going to build there next?
I don't believe so, as I look around to everybody else.
And as you say that, he looks very excited. And he reaches down to a hitherto unseen shelf beneath the desk and pulls out a large binder and says, "We have some very interesting styles available. If you're looking for a tower," and he flips through a couple of pages, "we can do... no, not with that stone. This one, it's 5 stories high, has a portcullis at the front, very fashionable. And then he kind of looks at Bardor for a second. No, fashionable's not right. Hold on." And flips through and says, "Oh, we can do this very dour keep. Nothing exciting whatsoever. Might be more your style.
It sounds pretty exciting, actually.
Each to their own.
Claire's face looks disgusted in the background.
Is there anything a little fancier?
Oh yes. Oh yes. Flips back a little bit. So there's this one, and gestures to another one, and it's there's 5 round towers that are all sort of inside or like part of a large boundary wall, and in the middle there's one central tower, and there's like nice little elevated walkways going from the towers into the main central tower. We do have this one. And it's a little pricier, mind you, but would look very good. Especially if you're out on the water, you'd see this nice big building out there. Would be very impressive, yes? Oh, just imagine if it was all made of marble. Would be delightful.
Would be expensive.
But worth it. Maybe we say maybe for now.
Maybe no. Not. I don't think the marble's a good idea.
Because that looks a little sad.
I mean, maybe as some accent pieces here or there, but as the basis of the structure, I'm not a fan.
What about something between the 5 towers and the dower one?
2 towers.
For copyright reasons, I don't think so. But maybe the more than one, less than 3 towers.
I suppose that does lead us to a question of, did we want to rebuild and have our own establishment of like the Quipper? I feel like Claire could help us out in that regard with some of her handiwork, or we could build something that's a little bit more homey and defensible.
I think that might be a question we need to include Eska and Silvarius in.
Yeah, it is. I guess that's a conversation we should have. I have ideas.
We could always wait and see until they're done clearing, and then see what material we have to work with. Whatever was salvageable from the wreck before.
Right. I feel whatever there is salvaged, we'll still have to put more in for resources. But still, this is something I've been looking forward to. I'll talk to what's his name again? I forgot his name. I'm sorry.
Bjorn?
Bjorn. Yeah, Bjorn.
How could you forget Bjorn?
I don't know. Is there any other detail that we should know about?
Who do you mean?
Just didn't know if there was anything else that you had on your mind. I guess seems as though we've covered it all.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm just excited to build something new there. Seems like it could be very fun.
I agree.
And you didn't find anything abnormal outside of the regular stone and wooden things, right?
Like what?
Claire just kind of panicky face looks between Cosette and Bardor, like she wants to talk about the bodies, but doesn't want to talk about the bodies.
Well, no bodies, but were there any maybe accessories left behind?
Well, not that I'm aware of, but I can check with the foreman and let you know. If you come back in a couple of days, we can finish up and maybe talk about plans moving forward.
That might be wise. It'll give us some chance to speak with our other party members, and then we can maybe have a better plan. Sit down and talk with you about that.
Do you want to meet at the site? It would be good for me to see it again anyway once it's completed.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. So 2 days, say after lunch.
I think that sounds good. Most important quest of all.
We got to rebuild the Pickled Quipper, don't we? I mean, it's kind of in our title.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's just whatever it is. We'll just call it the Pickled Quipper.
I mean, yeah. Is it a tavern? Is it a guild?
Is it a hot dog
rest-
cart? Whatever we
restaurant.
do.
Hot dog cart. They should sell pickles there. And Quipper.
We don't sell either of those things. I'm sorry.
No.
But no, they specifically do
Welcome
sell
to-
pickles and Quipper, but not Pickled Quipper.
Right. You got to pickle this Quipper yourself.
Well, so I'll say bye to Senor Bjorn and take off.
Yeah, go tell them outside, I guess, what happened.
Okie dokie. All right, so you tell them what happened. Any reaction from Severus and Eska?
No.
I guess, yeah, just because I don't. Was I part of the original meeting of Bjorn? Or was I out? Okay. And nothing has been decided. It's really just the cleanup phase and the gathering of material, and they're getting ready to rebuild at this point, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll need to. That'll be a session of us determining what we're gonna have to do.
Yes, we'll need to see at least 30 options of blueprints with various tower configurations.
This is the tower on the left. This one is with the tower on the right. This one we have the half moon tower. Triangle tower. Marble tower.
Duly noted.
Tungsten tower.
I guess we should have 5 towers, one for each of us, right?
Yeah, and it's got to be shaped like a big hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Phil, could you get AutoCAD, that advanced software for architecture? Do you mind if you could just get that for our next meetup?
You act like I don't already have it.
You're a damn good GM.
Never leave
So,
home
like-
without AutoCAD. You crazy? You never know when you're gonna need a blueprint.
I can't find my maps, but I have this highly detailed blueprint of the Pickled Quipper.
How dare you? I have my map. It's right here.
I can tell you what size the struts are. I don't know. I don't remember the voice of this NPC, but
We love you, Phil.
We love you and all of Cater's 8 accents.
So anyway, you you speak to Bjorn. Congratulations, you're up in the wherever you are, the other district. Are you heading to the Reaching Hand? Is that right?
I think that'll be the next step.
Yeah.
Although,
Hmm?
let's be honest here, people. As slow as we are, we just promised Bjorn we'd see him in 2 days. Are we really going to go to Drakesburg? Because we'll be over there for a month.
I mean, yeah, we'll be there a month to 4 months in game time, or in
Well,
In
our
real time,
time, in
Well,
real
it'll be
time, and it'll just be
about
a
8
day.
hours.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't feel like we're that expedient in any way. So, in game or out.
The way I figure it is, if there was needs to communicate, we could via Claire. In the off chance. You make a good point, though. You make a good point. Oh.
It's just a cautionary tale, is all.
So do we just tell Bjorn 3 days?
Yeah, we'll just try to stick to 2.
2 days.
Yeah, and then because he said he'd be done, and then, like you said, we can get Claire to do her fancy stuff.
So, you are heading over to the Reaching Hand. From here, it's a pretty healthy trek.
Is that like the other side of the town, basically?
Yeah, pretty much. You're currently sort of in the northwest, and it's essentially northeastish. So it'll take you good 30-40 minutes to get across there. Leaving the Belurk district, going through the Olondrin district, and finally into the Harbor district. So yes, it takes a little while, but eventually you make your way over. You find yourselves outside a familiar building, a large one-story tavern known as the Reaching Hand in the Harbor district. You can hear the occasional bells ringing from the harbor itself. And generally, there's a lot more hustle and bustle over this side of town than there is in especially in South Delsmer. That's typically a very quiet part of town, whereas it's constant movement over here. If you want to head inside, I guess you jolly well can.
We all just shove Eska in.
Yeah, she should definitely go first.
What could go wrong?
Didn't this place have very good pie?
Yes.
I feel like we might go in.
Eska's
Gotta
clearly
order some.
leading, and then followed by Cosette's nose and Claire's stomach.
Yeah.
The walkover freed up just enough room for a whole pie.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, you burn a decent amount of calories, especially with shorter legs.
Uh-huh. Exactly.
Okay. So yeah, you're able to head inside, and you hear a decent number of people in there. It's at this point it's carry the one. It's probably about mid afternoon, mid to late afternoon. It's already starting to get a little dark, actually, in part because of the heavy clouds. And once again, it's nice and warm inside, aided by 2 fireplaces. One on the left side of the room, one with the giant bear rug in front of it at the back wall. And yeah, you see, as you did before, off to the right, Bardor, as you're walking in, you see 2 guards by a door that leads to a little area in the front. And presumably, as your head's starting over that way, that's where we'll leave off. We'll pick up next time as you head back into the proper interior of the Reaching Hand.
Okie dokie.
Woo!
For asking to start that brawl.
Hey, I was very restrained this time. Sort of.
You guys were trying to push Bardor and Silvarius, but we know what's really going on.
Oh man, will we ever get to the end of this mystery? Who's he gonna be?
I mean, it is a classic. Like I was saying earlier, it's a very classic hate to love.
That's true.
It's very Pride and Prejudice.
So, if it was not truly like Pride and Prejudice,
I mean, quite literally.